Okay, so let's talk about what would have happened moving forward if Sasuke won the final battle in the Valley of the End. But in order to fully understand this, you've got to hit that like button so hard that he falls back and asks you who hit him, and hit the notification bell as well because I upload weekly, if not more. So before we talk about what would have happened if he won and how he would have won, let's talk about his motivations up to this point, as they became pretty diluted over time and a little difficult to understand. So let's break that down first. As we all know, his original goal was to put an end to his brother, since he was responsible for the termination of his own village. After his final battle with Itachi, he learns that everything he did was in favor of the village, as the Uchiha clan was plotting to overthrow the Hidden Leaf. Rather than observe the cause of his brother and follow the same goal of protecting the village, he does the complete opposite and wishes for its downfall because of the harm that they did to Itachi. And his views do change variably over time, as he meets Edo Itachi, but this is more or less the type of mindset that he has towards the end of the war arc, and he only really helped Naruto because of the mutual benefit that he gained from it. Now, there are also some statements towards the end of the arc that give us some more insight on his plans after he would have won, but let's first talk about how he would go about doing so, right? So I'm not really going to talk about the logistics of exactly which situation he could have won in and who was exactly stronger at that point in time, because that's its own video in and of itself, but that doesn't really impact the outcome too much because there are some things that he could have done to ensure his victory. First of all, seeing a lot of parallels with Dragon Ball, he could have done something very similar to Vegeta in the Majin Buu saga, where he got a senzu bean from Goku and knocked him out, basically making him think that he's now changed. Only now this time Sasuke would do the rat seal with Naruto and immediately afterwards kill him once he has his back turned. And obviously the rat seal would be to undo the infinite Tsukiyomi. Also, I would imagine that he would keep control of the tailed beast to help him against potential backlash. And obviously Sasuke would become Hokage, as he stated previously in the Battle of the End. And also I think he mentioned that when he met the Hokages. He also said in the anime that he alone can bear the hatred of the world. And he also said, and I quote, that he would concentrate all the hatred in himself and bring every village under his control. Now, this is most likely out of hatred for the Hidden Leaf and to prevent what happened to him to happen to anyone else in the future. Now, it is somewhat of a noble cause but diluted reasoning. He essentially wanted to build a village from the ground up, very similar to Madara's intentions initially before the whole infinite Tsukiyomi thing. Kind of like a unified front with him as the sole leader, most likely killing any opposition, as Naruto was the only real thing holding him down and keeping him grounded. Now, that means that all the previous Kage and the new era Kage would probably all be eliminated. I think Kakashi would be the first to go because he was not caught by the infinite Tsukiyomi and would probably be one of the first ones to know about Naruto's defeat. Now, we do know Sasuke was quite a bit drained after the fight with Naruto, but Kakashi was also drained and without any Sharingans after an intense battle with Kage. I don't think he'd put up too much of a fight either. Also, for those who think that he would be taken down by all the villages, no, he wouldn't. First of all, the entire Shinobi Alliance stood no chance against Edo Madara, who is more than exponentially weaker than Rinnegan Sasuke, so it's pretty safe to say that he wouldn't really have too much of an issue ruling with an iron fist. And where Shippuden left off, he wouldn't really go on his journey of atonement, and would eventually also probably get his arm back with Hashirama cells, much like Naruto did, because the main reason why he rejected it in the first place because he felt like this should be part of his punishment and atonement. And although he would kill those who were threats to him and opposed him, we do know that he wanted to become Hokage, and in chapter 694, right before the final battle with Naruto, he does state that he thought that Itachi was the true Hokage, as he was a shinobi who took on all hatred and protected the land of fire in Konoha from the shadows. This shows that he would probably still want to protect those who are weak or completely innocent. And that brings us to after Shippuden, towards the Boruto era. Obviously, there would be no Boruto. I don't think even Hinata would be alive, because upon hearing of Naruto's death, I could see her going on a rampage and getting absolutely yeeted across the map by Sasuke. I mean, Toneri wasn't really too much of an issue in the last, so I'll just move on to fully into the Boruto era and the Momoshiki arc. I feel as though there would be a direct and very quick confrontation between Sasuke and Momoshiki and Kinshiki, since Sasuke is in direct control of the tailed beasts and they were after their chakra. And in my video about nerfed Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki, I brought about some points that allude to the fact that they were already slightly weakened in their fight against Momoshiki, as Naruto had much of his chakra drain and Sasuke had to exhaust a bunch of chakra to use his Rinnegan to transport the maximum amount of people possible. Without any of these drains, with the chakra of all the tailed beasts, and without letting Momoshiki fuse, I think Sasuke would be able to kill Momoshiki and Kinshiki, and who knows, maybe he would be the one receiving using the Karma instead of Boruto. Now, if we continue with the Boruto story chronologically, we know that eventually at some point in time, he would probably run across Kawaki and probably take him in, similar to Naruto, because he saw himself in Kawaki, and he may even be curious about the Karma mark and how he can learn from it. This would eventually bring us to the Ishiki arc. Now, I would assume that the Karma members would probably be killed as soon as they come into Sasuke's path, with very little remorse, as we know, because we know that Sasuke would be ruling with an iron fist, very similar to, say, the Injustice franchise from DC Comics. And that would bring us to our final contestant, Jigen. Now, this is very tough, is much tougher, since originally Naruto and Sasuke both stood essentially no chance against Jigen. So I would imagine that knowing this, Amato, Kashinkoji, and Sasuke would all have to eventually team up to kill Jigen similarly to the original plan, with some slight variations to waste as much time as possible. Sasuke would also be much stronger because he has all the tailed beasts sealed away, where he can siphon their chakra enough to stall and hopefully defeat him. Otherwise, the story would have come to a conclusion right there. But I think this is where I'm going to leave it off, because I don't really want to go over the Code arc as it's still ongoing. There's no conclusion yet, but I'm definitely going to continue this in the future if this is something that you guys are interested in or you guys want me to talk about some more. Once again, if you guys like more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, as it really helps me out, as well as checking out our hoodies and Discord server, and I'll catch you in the next one.